Welcome to Zan's Weapon Depot, the podcast where we dive into the world of military hardware, the stories behind them, and how they've shaped modern warfare. I'm your host, Xanatos, and today we've got a real treat for you, especially if you love guns and explosions. Today, we're talking about one of the most iconic weapons in modern combat, the MK19 automatic grenade launcher. This thing is the Hulk of grenade launchers, big, powerful, and ready to leave a trail of destruction. We're going to dive into its specs, history, and what makes this bad boy so effective on the battlefield. Are you ready? Let's get into it. The MK19 is a weapon that's been around for decades, but it's still very much in action today. So what makes it so special? Well, it's a machine gun that fires grenades. And when I say machine gun, I mean this thing can unload 325 rounds per minute. That's a whole lot of boom in a very short period of time. This weapon has been in service with the U.S. military since the 1960s and is still one of the most reliable pieces of hardware used by ground forces. The MK19 is a belt-fed, air-cooled, blowback operation weapon, and it has a maximum effective range of 1,500 meters, or roughly 1 mile. So we're talking about putting rounds on foreheads and causing absolute chaos from a significant distance. And here's the kicker. It can be mounted on a variety of platforms. It's not just carried by infantry. You'll see it mounted on Humvees, boats, helicopters, and even light armored vehicles. This adaptability gives flexibility in a lot of combat situations. It's also worth mentioning how versatile the MK19 is when it comes to the types of grenades it can fire. There are a ton of different types, from high explosive grenades to training rounds. One of the most feared is the high explosive dual purpose round. It is designed to take out both personnel and light vehicles with devastating effect. Let's talk about how it works. The MK19 uses the blowback operated mechanism, which means that after each shot, the force of the exploding round actually helps cycle the next round into the chamber. This is key to its high rate of fire and efficiency. Think of it as the MK19 using its own recoil to reload itself, similar to the M16. And that's not all. It's got a robust construction. Whether it's desert heat, jungle humidity, or Arctic cold, this thing just keeps on firing. That's a big reason why it's a mainstay for decades. The MK19's role in the Gulf War is pretty fascinating. Troops mounted it on Humvees and armored vehicles, allowing them to create suppression zones for enemy infantry, destroying light vehicles, and providing fire support for infantry units in the field. It closely came into its own during that conflict, and it's been a workhorse ever since. One of the coolest features of the MK19 is its flexibility when it comes to mounting. It's commonly seen on helicopters too. Can you imagine a helicopter flying over a target and unloading a barrage of grenades? That's terrifying and kind of hot. When you see the MK19 in action, it's a showstopper. The sheer volume of fire is incredible. Imagine a line of enemy troops or vehicles caught in a hail of grenades. The MK19 doesn't just break things, it liquefies them. But wait, there's more. It's not just about raw power. The MK19's ability to suppress enemy fire is key. When you have a team unloading grenades in a continuous stream, you're forcing the enemy to keep their heads down, disrupt formations, and create openings for your forces to exploit. Let's take a quick look at the stats of this monster of a weapon. Weighs about 75 pounds, with an overall length of 41.5 inches, and can hold a rate of fire up to 325 rounds per minute. It has an effective range of 1,500 meters, and an overall range of 2,200 meters. Fires a 40mm grenade in the various types: high explosive, dual purpose, fragmentation, smoke, and training rounds. That's a serious piece of equipment, no doubt, but it's not just about raw firepower, it's about the versatility and effectiveness. Whether mounted on vehicles or on helicopters or used by infantry, the MK19 gives soldiers an incredibly effective tool to control on the battlefield. While the MK19 has been around for decades, it's still relevant in modern warfare. The weapon's ability to lay down massive suppressive fire, combined with its devastating impact on light vehicles, infantry, ensures its place in today's military arsenal. So there you have it, folks. The MK19 automatic grenade launcher, an absolute beast of a weapon that's been putting fear into the hearts of enemies for decades, and it isn't going anywhere anytime soon. That's all for today's episode of Zan's Weapon Depot. Thanks for tuning in, and be sure to join us next time as we break down another piece of cutting-edge military technology. Semper Fi.